All right, guys, so this is Ted, and my best friend I've had for 6 years. Ted doesn't feel very good. So what I wanted to use in this situation was cost-benefit analysis and decision making. So I think it's time to make that decision or that choice. Taking Ted to the vet and the cost-benefit analysis of it. So this also has a little bit to do with personal finance and incorporating some of those unplanned costs in your budget, just saving for that rainy day just in case something happens. So, decision-making chart. Sometimes when you have to make a decision on something, you have to make criteria and you have to see what fits. So, for example, my decision here, my choices are, I can either take Ted to the vet, or I could not take Ted to the vet. What do you think, Ted? All right, that's what Ted has to say. And once I have my criteria of cost, time, will it make him happier? Will it make him feel better faster if I do or don't? And I'll show you that in a graph in a second. I'll put together and put up on the screen. That's when I can look at all the criteria and decide what I need to do. What's a rational decision to make in this situation? And then of course the cost-benefit analysis, and I'll include that after I get the vet bill, or what the vet says the bill could be. Stay tuned. Poor Ted. Alright, so I'm here with Dr. Leslie, Ted's vet, and she's kind of giving me the rundown of the cost-benefit analysis. So Teddo here got something gunky in his tummy, and I have some options. I can wait it out. I can get some x-rays and treat him with some medicine. So I'll tell you guys what my choice is later, but let's look at the cost-benefit analysis. The cost of upfront getting an x-ray and the medicine, what would you say ballpark? It doesn't have to be perfect.
You know, the x-rays are usually somewhere around $150 or so. Mm-hmm. Medicine for a dog his size might be $40.
Okay, so there's that option of roughly $200, get my dog looked at in the immediate. And then there's the idea of, okay, I can keep my $200 now. If my dog is fine, that's fine. But let's look at the other side of it. If I don't get an x-ray and if I don't get those medicines, what are the costs that could accumulate from waiting and not making the decision to get him treated now?
If Ted started to have trouble overnight and continued to vomit or have diarrhea, you'd probably, being the weekend's coming up, I'd worry that you'd end up over in the emergency clinic. And walking in the door for an examination over there, I think is close to $150 without treatment.
Without treatment. So looking at cost-benefit analysis, this is econ in real life. And this also touches a little bit on what we're going to be going on in the future, which is personal finance and budgeting for things like this that come up, and having that little bit of money set aside so that you can afford when your dog decides to eat something weird.
Ted's expensive.
Girl, that's expensive.
Ted's expensive. All right, thank you, Dr. Leslie. Obviously, I will show you guys the chart on how I make my decision in this situation, but obviously I'm gonna get Ted x-rayed and medicated, so stay tuned.
A decision-making chart is simply a visual representation of what we do when we're making choices in our head. You typically have at least 2 choices, and you want to have at least 3 criteria to weigh those against. So I have treating Ted now or waiting to treat Ted, and I've got my 3 criteria. Is it expensive? Is it a long-term solution? And is it good for Ted? So a minus means it costs me, a plus means it's a benefit to me. So based on my rational decision-making chart, I should get Ted fixed now.
Benefit analysis. So, drum roll. Ta-da! It's Ted. Oh, it's a bill. Okay, so there's a bill here for $526. But just like when you saw earlier with that rational decision-making grid that I'd made and the criteria and how I compared the cost, the convenience, the well-being of my dog, and those things, what it came out to be was that I should have gotten Ted fixed and did whatever the vet said. And when I talked to the vet after making that decision and having a $526 bill, she actually said, had I not come in early, or had I waited, had I decided to just not get the x-ray or not take the medication, had I decided to just go home and not treat him, I would have ended up in the vet with an emergency bill that would have been at least double, if not more. So in the long haul, it's more rational for me to have done that and for me to occur in the immediate a large bill. Until next time.